What is it about vintage guitars that gets our blood flowing? Collectors of all stripes, be it car freaks, comic book hoarders, numismatic nuts, or the like, all have intensely passionate relationships with the artifacts they collect. All these collectors also share the thrill of uncovering rare finds. Still, there is something special about vintage guitars and the people who treasure them. Perhaps it's the fact that unlike coins or stamps, vintage guitars can be played. They are able to go from an antique artifact to a music-making joy box, magic delivered live in person. Acoustic guitars vibrate their delicate wooden boxes, and electric guitars can be plugged in and cranked up. In that sense, guitars are living things. They can exist under a bed or in a basement or in an attic for decades, and when they are cleaned up and have new strings put on, they live again. Vintage guitar enthusiasts can go into great detail about why older instruments are better than anything you can buy new. One thing is undeniable. The deplorable quality of guitars made in the 1970s started a trend of players seeking older guitars that played and sounded better than what was available at the time. Ever since that decade, guitar players and collectors have all hoped to capture some of the magic that existed in previous eras. Through reissue models, custom shop builds, and even relic guitars, new instruments aged to look beat up and old. The furor over vintage is a bit much, but there are facts to support it. Magic guitars happen for a reason. A civilian might be unaware of the factors involved, but just ask guitar geeks and they can rattle on for days. The combination of expert craftsmen, trained designers, high production values, and unbeatable raw materials all came together to make vintage guitars magical, special objects. Want some real evidence about the superiority of older guitars versus newer guitars? Vintage guitars used hardwoods and metals that are either unavailable now or too expensive to reproduce. For example, pre-war Martin and Gibson flat tops have tops made of the best spruce you'll ever see with the tightest grain. You can get quality spruce for soundboards today, but it doesn't hold a candle to the tops found on those older instruments. The wood simply doesn't exist anymore. The really good stuff has been over-harvested, depleted. There might be wood that nice in 100 years if the trees are carefully forested, maintained, and harvested, but there won't be any in our lifetimes. Most quality American guitars made before the late 1960s used fretboards made of Brazilian rosewood. This rosewood was plentiful and cost-effective for over 100 years of guitar manufacture, and undoubtedly the finest timber used for a guitar fretboard. With over-harvesting and an eventual ban on its export, Brazilian rosewood is now a thing of the past, and guitar makers have been scrambling to find a suitable replacement ever since it was banned for good in the 1990s. Metal parts, you would think, wouldn't suffer the same sort of detailed scrutiny, but they do. Don't get a guitar geek started on the difference between a vintage steel tremolo block on a Strat compared with the current zinc pot metal trem block, or the sound of a real Gibson PAF versus any pickup made ever since. There were other factors beyond the control of the guitar makers. One random example, cobalt. The mineral used in Alnico magnets in guitar pickups and amplifier speakers has always come primarily from the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. Congo had been a Belgian colony until 1960, and cobalt was harvested cheaply and plentifully from the copper belt in the Katanga province. After the Shaba conflict in 1978, cobalt became more and more expensive to obtain. In response, the major guitar and amp companies switched to cheaper ceramic magnets for their guitar pickups and amplifier speakers. The problem is that ceramic magnets work, but they don't sound good. The higher the cobalt content, the better the sound. These ethical and geopolitical issues continue, and at the time of this writing, minerals from Congo were part of a court battle with manufacturers of smartphones, which use tiny pieces of minerals like cobalt as part of their internal workings. Over-harvesting and political unrest were things that previous generations never even thought about.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, Click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.